We start in U.S. politics. Midterm elections are underway in the U.S. Polls in key states are closing as Americans cast their ballots to decide whether the Democrats or Republicans will control Congress for the next 2 years. For more on that, let's cross live to our correspondent Hendrik Sabrandi in Phoenix, Arizona. Hendrik, where is Arizona going this time?
Well, that's the big question here. We are going to find that out, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, perhaps in the days to come. It may take a while to get any kind of results here. The polls closed in Phoenix about an hour ago, so the counting has just begun. There are two big races that everybody is focused on. First of all, the Arizona governor's race with Kari Lake, the Republican, facing off against the Democrat Katie Hobbs. That's a very close race, at least according to the polls. Kari Lake is one of those what you would call election deniers. She has never fully accepted the fact that President Biden won the presidency in 2020 and has cast doubts on the integrity of the electoral system in general. So she is the Republican vying to be governor against the Democrat. And then the Senate race is the other one that everybody is looking at, and that matches the Democrat Mark Kelly, who's the incumbent, against his Republican challenger Blake Masters. Masters is also an election denier, falls into that same category. Obviously, if Kelly wins that race, that helps the Democrats retain control of the Senate. Right now the Senate is split evenly at 50-50. The Democrats need Kelly to win this race to maintain control of the U.S. Senate, so all eyes are on that race as well. Both of these are very, very close, and it's expected it could take days for the counting to be completed and for a final result to be learned. Lots of skepticism on the Republican side about just how the elections are being conducted, the way people are voting. They've got a lot of concerns about that. So we'll see what happens here in the days to come and whether either party will accept the final result.
Well, Hendrik, let's talk more about voters' concerns. According to NBC News, inflation is one of the two major issues for American voters at this time. How's inflation looking like in Arizona?
Well, inflation is high here, and it's probably higher here than in other states in the U.S. Just take the Phoenix area, for example. Phoenix, in the 12-month period ending in August, had the highest inflation rate of any U.S. city at 13% year over year. That's a very high number, one of the highest numbers for a city in the U.S. in quite some time. Apparently, one of the contributors to that is the very hot housing market here in the Phoenix area. So inflation is a big concern. We've been hearing it all year long, that this is something that voters are very concerned about, not just in Arizona, but in states across the country. And as you say, it's one of the very top issues that is motivating people here at the polls, and particularly so obviously in the Phoenix area, given the numbers I just cited. So inflation is driving a lot of voters, but there are other issues too: immigration, abortion, just the future of American democracy are some of the other issues that are motivating voters. I think everybody has their own personal reason for casting a ballot this year, but as you said, inflation is certainly one of the key ones. The cost of food, the cost of gasoline and energy, and then the cost of homes, as I mentioned, all of those numbers have gone way up, and they want whoever is elected to try to do something about it very soon. They just feel like not enough has been done to address the issue.
So, Hendrik, let's talk a little bit more about immigration, a particularly challenging issue for the state of Arizona. How much does that weigh in voters' decisions this time?
Well, I think immigration has been a motivating issue, particularly for Republican voters, those right of center on the political spectrum. Immigration is a big concern for them. The border issues, obviously Arizona borders Mexico, so there is a geographical reason for voters to be concerned about this. They just feel not enough is being done to maintain security along the border. Too many people are being let in, too many immigrants being let into the United States at the moment. They want tighter border enforcement. And in fact, the Democrat Mark Kelly, who I talked about a few moments ago, he's even advocating that there be tighter border security and that the wall between Arizona and Mexico, the border wall, that be enhanced and that construction be continued on certain parts of that border in the years to come. So Kelly is even saying some of the things that Republicans would be saying. So it is an animating issue. It is something that's driving some voters to the polls. But as I said, particularly those in the Republican Party feel that this is something very important that they want their next senator or their next governor to try to address.
Thank you very much. Our correspondent Hendrik Sabrandi in Phoenix, Arizona.